Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare states $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today we are diving deep into one of the most iconic modern US coins, the 1999 Delaware State Quarter. The first coin released in the 50 State Quarters program, it's more than just change in your pocket, it's history, art, and for some collectors, a hidden treasure. So, sit back, relax, and listen closely, because this little coin has a story worth every second. It all started in January 1999, when the Delaware Quarter kicked off the State Quarter series. On the reverse, it shows Caesar Rodney riding his horse in a dramatic moment from American history, his legendary 80-mile ride to cast his vote for independence. Above it reads, "The First State," a proud tribute to Delaware being the first to ratify the U.S. Constitution. This coin didn't just mark the start of a program, it marked the beginning of a collecting frenzy across America. Now, let's talk about what makes this coin interesting for collectors. The Philadelphia Mint produced around 373 million coins, and the Denver Mint struck more than 400 million. That's a huge number, but even with such a large mintage, certain examples have become incredibly desirable because of their condition and their rare errors. For everyday coins, most Delaware quarters are common. But when we look closer, some varieties stand out, and that's where things get exciting. Point 1 of the most famous is the spitting horse error. This happens when a die crack forms between the horse's mouth and Caesar Rodney's name, creating the illusion that the horse is spitting. It's not rare enough to make every example valuable, but collectors love this quirky variety. In uncirculated condition, these can bring in noticeable premiums, especially if the crack is bold and well-defined. Another fascinating variety is the rotated die error. Normally, when you flip a coin, the front and back line up perfectly. But on some Delaware quarters, the reverse is rotated, sometimes slightly, sometimes completely upside down. These are highly collectible, and depending on the angle and grade, they can sell for hundreds of dollars. Then there are planchet errors, when the coin is struck on the wrong type of metal blank. Extremely rare examples of the Delaware Quarter have been reported on experimental or foreign planchets, and if verified, these can be worth serious money. Condition, of course, is everything. A coin with no scratches, strong details, and full mint luster can jump dramatically in value. For the 1999 Delaware Quarter, top-graded mint state examples, especially MS 68 or higher, are hard to find and very desirable. Collectors will pay big for that flawless finish because it captures the coin exactly as it left the press, without a single blemish. So what are these coins actually worth in today's market? Let's break it down in simple words. A regular 1999 Delaware Quarter that you find in your pocket or change jar is worth 25 cents, face value. A mint state example in beautiful uncirculated condition might sell for a few dollars, sometimes up to $5 or $6 if it's pristine. The proof versions made in San Francisco, which have mirror-like surfaces, are worth a bit more. These usually sell for around $8 in top condition. Now for the exciting part, the errors and high grades. A spitting horse error in excellent shape can bring anywhere from $50 to $100, depending on eye appeal. A dramatic rotated die strike has sold for around $250 at auction. And the highest graded examples, flawless pieces certified by major grading companies, have reached $200 to $300 or more. In a few extremely rare cases, unique experimental or double-struck Delaware quarters have fetched several $1,000s when authenticated, though those are almost never found in circulation. So remember, while most Delaware quarters are worth only a quarter, the rare ones, the ones with striking errors or in perfect condition, can be worth tens, hundreds, or even thousands of dollars. For collectors, the 1999 Delaware Quarter represents more than money. It's the start of an era, the first step in a program that reignited America's love for coins. Whether you have one in a jar or a certified gem in a display case, it's a piece of history worth holding on to. Top 2. We are diving into one of the most fascinating and surprising coins in modern U.S. history, the 2004 Wisconsin State Quarter. At first glance, it looks like just another quarter from the 50 State Quarters program, but behind this small piece of metal lies a mystery, a touch of luck, and some serious money that could be hiding right in your pocket change. The Wisconsin quarter was released in 2004 as part of the U.S. Mint's program to celebrate each state with its own unique design. For Wisconsin, the design features a proud cow, a round of cheese, and an ear of corn, all symbols of the state's rich agricultural heritage. But what most people don't realize is that this simple ear of corn turned this coin into one of the most talked about coins in the entire series. Shortly after the coin's release, collectors began noticing something unusual. Some coins had an extra leaf on the corn husk, a feature that wasn't part of the original design. One version showed a small, extra leaf pointing downward, and another had a leaf pointing upward. These became known as the extra leaf high and extra leaf low varieties. Now, here's where things get really interesting. These errors were not the result of intentional design changes. Instead, experts believe the extra leaf came from a tiny gouge or mark made on the die that struck the coin, an accident that turned into a collector's dream. Only a small number of these coins ever made it into circulation, and most were discovered in bags of quarters distributed in the southwestern United States, especially in Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. Because of their rarity and the excitement they caused, coin collectors began hunting for them everywhere, from coin rolls at the bank to vending machines and grocery store change. The regular Wisconsin quarter without the extra leaf is, of course, worth its face value, just 25 cents. But the ones with the extra leaf errors? Those can bring in some incredible prices, depending on their condition and whether they're the high leaf or the low leaf version. Collectors especially value coins that are in mint or uncirculated condition, meaning they look almost brand new with little or no wear. It's amazing to think that one small detail, barely visible to the naked eye, could turn an ordinary quarter into a piece of treasure. These coins have become symbols of how even modern pocket change can hold secrets, stories, and serious value. They remind us that coin collecting isn't just about old silver or gold pieces. Sometimes, it's about paying close attention to the small details that others might overlook. So the next time you get a Wisconsin quarter from 2004, take a close look at that ear of corn. Look carefully at the left side of the husk. If you see an extra leaf curling upward or downward, you might be holding something much more valuable than just a quarter. Now, let's talk about the real market prices for these amazing coins. As of today, a circulated 2004 Wisconsin extra leaf low quarter can sell for around $200 to $300, while one in mint, uncirculated condition can fetch over $1,000. The rarer extra leaf high version can go for $500 to $2,000 depending on grade, and in top condition, some have even sold at major auctions for over $6,000. So check your change, coin lovers, because the next time you find a Wisconsin quarter, it might just be your lucky day. Top 3, we are exploring a hidden gem among modern U.S. coins, the 2004 Iowa State Quarter. At first glance, it might look like just another coin from the State Quarters series, but the Iowa quarter has a charm, a message, and even a few surprises that have captured the attention of collectors around the world. So, coin lovers, listen carefully, because this story will make you look at your pocket change in a whole new way. The Iowa State Quarter was released in 2004 as part of the U.S. Mint's famous 50 State Quarters program. It represents the state of Iowa, known for its endless cornfields, friendly communities, and deep dedication to education. The design on this quarter is truly meaningful. It shows a schoolhouse with a teacher and her students planting a tree, inspired by the painting Arbor Day by Iowa artist Grant Wood. This beautiful image celebrates learning, growth, and the state's commitment to both nature and knowledge. Now, while this design may seem calm and simple, some of the Iowa quarters hold secrets that make collectors' hearts race. Just like many other state quarters, the Iowa issue has a few rare varieties and errors that can transform an ordinary 25-cent coin into something worth hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars. The first thing collectors look for is the mint mark, either P for Philadelphia or D for Denver. Both versions were minted in huge numbers, but what makes a difference is the condition and the small imperfections that happened during minting. Coins struck with worn or damaged dies can show fascinating and collectible errors. One of the most well-known Iowa quarter errors is the double die error. This occurs when the design is slightly duplicated, making the details look doubled, especially around the lettering. the date, or the design elements like the schoolhouse windows or the tree branches. If you spot doubling, especially on the words, Foundation in Education, or Iowa 1846, that could be a sign you're holding a valuable piece. Another sought-after type is the struck-through error, where a small piece of debris or grease on the die prevents part of the design from appearing clearly. These coins have missing or faded details that make them unique. No two are exactly alike. Some of these striking errors have sold for surprising amounts depending on how bold and visible the flaw is. Collectors also chase for off-center strikes, where the design is not perfectly aligned, or die breaks, which appear as raised lines or extra metal on the coin's surface. Every one of these small minting accidents tells its own story, making each coin a true one-of-a-kind treasure. But rarity doesn't just depend on errors, condition matters a lot too. Coins that were never used in circulation and remain in pristine, mint state condition are always worth more. Many collectors send these coins for professional grading to get an official mint state rating, and the higher the grade, the higher the value. Now, here's the part you've been waiting for, the real numbers. In today's market, a regular 2004 Iowa quarter from circulation is, of course, worth its face value of 25 cents. But the rare and well-preserved ones can bring serious money. A brilliant uncirculated Iowa quarter with no errors can sell for $5 to $10, while a high-grade, professionally graded mint state 68 example can go up to $100 or more. However, when it comes to the special error coins, the value rises dramatically. A strong double die or struck-through Iowa quarter has been known to sell for $200 to $500, depending on the clarity of the error. And the most impressive examples in top condition, certified by grading services like PCGS or NGC, have reached over $1,000 in collector auctions. So, next time you're checking your change, take a close look at any 2004 Iowa quarter that comes your way. Look carefully at the lettering, the date, and the schoolhouse details. You might just spot one of these hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. Top 4. We are going to uncover the hidden story behind one of the most fascinating coins in the state quarter series, the 2002 Indiana quarter. It's more than just a piece of change, it's a small symbol of speed, pride, and American craftsmanship. But what if I told you that some of these Indiana quarters are worth far more than 25 cents? That there are rare varieties, strange errors, and mysterious details that have made collectors hunt for them for years? Stay with me till the end, because this story will make you look twice at every quarter in your pocket. The Indiana State Quarter was released in 2002 as the 19th coin in the U.S. Mint's famous 50 State Quarters program. The design honors Indiana's long connection with racing and innovation. Right at the center is a sleek race car speeding across the outline of the state. Surrounding it are 19 stars, symbolizing Indiana being the 19th state to join the Union. Below it, proudly engraved, are the words, Crossroads of America, a nickname that perfectly captures Indiana's spirit. At first glance, it looks like a simple design, but hidden among these coins are some rare varieties and minting mistakes that have turned ordinary quarters into treasures. The magic, as always, lies in the small details that most people overlook. One of the most talked about issues with the Indiana quarter is the die crack and die break errors. During the minting process, the dies, which stamp the coin's design, sometimes develop tiny cracks after producing thousands of coins. These cracks can leave raised lines or blobs of extra metal on the finished coin. Some Indiana quarters have die breaks that appear near the race car, along the state outline, or across the lettering. These little imperfections make each coin unique, and depending on how visible or dramatic the break is, collectors are willing to pay good money for them. Another rare variety is the off-center strike, where the design isn't perfectly aligned. You might see part of the race car cut off, or some lettering missing. The more off-center it is, while still showing part of the date and design, the more valuable it becomes. There are also reports of double die errors, where some coins show doubling on the words, Crossroads of America, Indiana, or the date, 2002. If you spot thick or shadowed edges on the lettering or stars, that could be a double die, and that's something collectors always look for. And don't forget the struck-through grease error, where part of the design appears faint or missing because a bit of grease or debris got between the die and the coin during minting. These coins might look like they have faded letters or incomplete race car details, but what looks like damage could actually be a mint error worth holding onto. Collectors also pay close attention to the mint mark. The Indiana quarter was struck at both the Philadelphia Mint, marked P, and the Denver Mint, marked D. Although both versions were produced in large quantities, certain die errors or uncirculated coins with sharp details from either mint can attract strong demand. Now, while most Indiana quarters you find in your pocket are worth their face value of 25 cents, those rare error coins and pristine uncirculated pieces can be worth far more. Let's talk real numbers, the part every collector loves to hear. A regular 2002 Indiana quarter in brilliant uncirculated condition might sell for $5 to $10. But if it's graded mint state 68 or higher, it can go for $50 to $100. Now, when we move into error territory, the prices climb fast. A strong double die or off-center strike can fetch between $200 and $500, depending on its sharpness and condition. Coins with bold die breaks or struck through errors have been known to sell for $300 to $700. And in major auctions, a few top-quality Indiana quarters with dramatic minting flaws have crossed the $1,000 mark. Yes, a single quarter worth $1,000 or more. Top 5, and last rare coin, we are going to uncover the secrets behind one of the most striking and mysterious coins in the entire 50-state quarters collection, the 2007 Wyoming quarter. At first glance, it looks simple, a cowboy riding a bucking horse, framed by the bold words, "The Equality State." But behind that simple image lies a world of fascinating details, rare minting errors, and surprising collector stories that have made this quarter one of the most talked about coins of its era. So, coin lovers, get ready, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at a Wyoming quarter the same way again. Released in 2007, the Wyoming quarter was the 44th design in the state quarters program, celebrating Wyoming's proud heritage as the first state to grant women the right to vote, hence the title, the Equality State. The design shows a cowboy on a rearing horse, a symbol long associated with Wyoming's frontier spirit. It's bold, clean, and instantly recognizable, but it's also that simplicity that made small minting mistakes stand out, and those mistakes are exactly what turned some of these coins into valuable collectibles. Let's start with the minting story. The Wyoming quarter was struck at both the Philadelphia Mint, marked with a P, and the Denver Mint, marked with a D. While millions were produced, certain batches came out with errors that collectors still hunt for today. The most famous among them is what collectors call the missing leg error. On some coins, the horse or the rider appears to be missing parts of their legs due to grease or debris clogging the die during minting. This error causes the design to look incomplete, and those missing details have made these coins quite desirable. Another exciting find is the extra metal error or die chip. On certain Wyoming quarters, you'll notice small raised lumps of metal, especially near the horse's mane, the rider's hat, or the lettering. These die chips can vary in size, some are tiny, while others are bold enough to catch the light. The bigger and more noticeable the chip, the higher the coin's collector value. Then there's the double die error, a favorite among collectors. This happens when the coin's design is slightly duplicated during the striking process, giving parts of the design a shadowed or doubled look. On Wyoming quarters, doubling has been reported on the lettering, the Equality State, and Wyoming. If you spot letters that look thicker or have ghost-like outlines, that could be a true double die, and that's worth checking with a magnifier. Some collectors have also reported struck-through errors, where parts of the design are faint or missing because grease or another material got between the die and the coin. This can make details like the horse's face or the rider's leg look faded or partially erased. Each of these minting mistakes tells its own story, and because every error is slightly different, each one becomes a one-of-a-kind collectible. Even coins without visible errors can still hold value if they're in exceptional condition. Uncirculated or mint state coins, those that have never been used or have perfect shine and details, are always sought after. Collectors look for clean surfaces, sharp details, and no scratches or bag marks. Some coins have been graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC at extremely high levels, making them worth far more than their face value. Now, here's where things get really exciting, the real market prices. A normal 2007 Wyoming quarter from circulation is, of course, worth 25 cents. But a clean, uncirculated example can bring in $5 to $15 depending on its condition. Coins graded at mint state 67 or higher have sold for $50 to $100, especially those with full luster and sharp strike. When it comes to the rare error coins, prices jump dramatically. The famous missing leg Wyoming quarter has sold for $200 to $400 depending on how bold the missing details are. Coins with large die chips or extra metal have gone for $100 to $300. And the highly sought-after double die varieties have reached prices as high as $500 to $800 in top condition, but the real surprise comes from auctions. A few pristine examples of the Wyoming quarter with dramatic minting errors have sold for more than $1,000 when authenticated and graded by top-tier services. Yes, a single 25-cent coin, selling for more than $1,000, all because of a tiny minting flaw. So, the next time you get change, pay attention to that 2007 Wyoming quarter. Take a close look at the cowboy, the horse, the lettering, and even the fine lines on the surface. That ordinary coin in your hand could be an extraordinary find waiting to be discovered. Coin lovers, remember, every coin tells a story, and sometimes, the simplest design hides the greatest surprises. Keep your eyes open, keep collecting, and who knows, maybe your next Wyoming quarter will be the one that makes history and adds a little piece of treasure to your collection.